I want to introduce a new product to you today. Let's go ahead and lay this out here. It's a new Caterpillar engine that I've just made, 3D printed. Anyhow, that's the instructions to it. And when you get it, I'll provide a link to where you can order it. You're going to get the engine, a couple sleeves, an air filter, and a gas tank. For the Tamiya Komatsu G-40 Bulldozer. This joker right here. It's 1/48 scale. Okay, you're going, well, how am I going to get that engine in there? Well, it's pretty easy. When you get the new dozer, you're going to start putting it together, and you're going to leave the original radiator off, the headlights, the hood right here. These louvered pieces right here are going to have to be cut off. So basically, you're going to make an incision and you're going to cut it all the way down through there. And then you're going to flat sand it like this piece here. It won't have to be put on the original fuel tank. It'll be eliminated. But if you're building one and you haven't, and it's already put together, then you're going to have to remove all that stuff. Basically, you're going to cut it almost down to where the oil pan is. And I'll show you an example of it. This is one I made, and it was already put together. But I got to hacking on it. And excuse me. Basically, you'll make an incision down through there and cut it all the way around. Of course, these are glued on later. I've glued these on already. And they won't be there, so you can take a saw and you can just saw right through there to that point there. And then you're going to, I guess this would be a transmission hump right there. You're going to cut through it. And I filled this with putty right here. It's not necessary, but I did anyhow. And there's also a little tab right here. It's like a hump in there. It's part of the plastic casting. You'll have to cut it out right there. Be right there on both sides. Here's another example I've done here. Actually, when I cut through this one here, I went too deep and I ended up knocking a hole in it right there, and I filled it with putty. Right here. So next I'm going to show you how to put this little engine together. You get the engine, it's going to come in a couple parts bags like that, with everything in it. Cleanup will be minimum on it. It is 3D printed. If you look very closely, there's some very little spots that need to be cleaned up. Like there were some supports through there. There's some supports there. There was a support there. At the bottom of it, you can see it's got a little chip in it there. Tried not to keep that chip, but it's out of sight when it's put together. Anyhow, show you how to put this thing together. You want to test fit all the pieces first, make sure everything fits. If they do, it may need a little bit of filing or whatever. Gonna need some CA glue. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this air filter on there. And it goes right on top of the engine, first thing right there. We're going to set that on top of there. Make sure it's square. There, it's in place now. Next thing to go on will be this aluminum sleeve right here. And it will go on right here. Next piece to go on will be the brass stack. This one here fits a little loose. You want to make sure it's plumb and lined up good when it's put on. If you look closely on here, one of these sides has got a thinner side that goes up. I believe it's this side here. That'll face up. I'm going to stick that in there like that. Make sure it's plumb. Hold it for a second or two. And it's set up. Next thing I want to talk about is the tank. This one here, I placed the tank on the right side here. Because there was a little bitty tiny tank on the original one, had a little hole in it right here, and I believe I filled this one right here underneath. To prepare this, you got to sand all this area here down, get it semi-smooth, and then the tank itself has a hole in it. I've used, and it'll mount right here. And once it's mounted, I added the hose on it right here, and it just goes down through the frame right here. It's kind of a mock-up. Also did the same thing with the hydraulic lines. It had some funky hydraulic lines on it when you get it, the original one. And I've cut them off here, drilled 2 pilot holes, and run this cabling, hydraulic hoses, and dead-ended them back here on the back of the tractor. But anyhow, it goes down under the seat here on both sides, and it gives kind of a representation of it. So when this thing cranks up here, those cylinders are going to move back and forth, and it gives it a little bit of area to where it can actually be free and work. Now the motor, it just sits in here like that. Just like that. And it's ready to go. The tank that you'll get is like this one right here. You may have to pilot that, depending on what kind of wire you use. You could probably use telephone wire on it too, brass. I think I actually used some 28 wire on this. It was from a decoder. And it's a lot more pliable, and you can bend it around and manipulate it a lot easier. Especially back here where it has this sharp bends. And I just drilled a couple holes in there, nothing perfect or anything, but good enough. And I'm going to see if we can glue this motor into this frame. And I have not done one of these yet at all, mounted them in. But it looks like it's just going to need some glue. See where that is. We need some glue there, some glue in the back. Let's see what happens. I've not glued one of these yet to date. May be a disaster. Here, we'll put some glue here across the front, down the side. All the way there. There's nothing really touching the engine on that part on each side, but I'm going to put another blob back here on this where the flywheel would be. Hopefully it'll stick. Like it's going together okay. Another option on this thing is you can just get the other one here. Completely eliminate these. The scoop on it. Probably very carefully cut it across there. Cut it across there somewhere and make it into a tractor without the blade on it. They were actually tractors, I believe, before they even made blades on. Anyhow, that's about it from the shop today. If you want to convert one of these babies right here, looks like it's a done deal now. It kind of gives an idea what it looks like. Got the blade on it. Anyhow, that's it. Thanks for watching.